Set. 4, 3, 1.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Morning Quarterback. Today, we are four pastors who love ministry, leadership, and sports. Adam has started a new diet, the Mediterranean diet, even though he's already...
Nice.
Adam, how you feeling on your new diet?
I feel great.
Full of salmon and tuna. John's coming in there from his house. John, how's things going? Rainbow Forest?
Things are going good, man. It's 40 degrees today. That's a 30-degree increase than what it's been.
Hey.
Nice. And then me and Paul chilling out in North Georgia. Paul, you good today?
Do my best, my man.
Nice.
It's Monday.
Nice.
I'm tired, but I'm good.
Nice. Well, hey, before we jump in real quick, two quick things. We are going to talk, we're going to start off with a little bit of sports preview. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about some of the coaching changes that have been going on. A lot has been going on in the NFL in college circles. And then on the back half, John's going to lead a conversation as we have all been through education. We're going to talk about the church and seminary, and is it necessary in today's climate, and what its purpose is, or is it not necessary? But before we jump into that, many of you have seen that this past week we launched what we're calling the We the Church Network, and it's kind of like an umbrella network for our podcast, the Above All Else podcast, run by my wife and a few other ministry ladies. And then we've got 25 different contributors that are going to be giving us different pieces of content. Some of them are pastors, some of them are stay-at-home moms, some of them are Christian educators, and each of us, the Lord has given us what I call niche passion topics, things that we care about, that we think about when we're laying in bed. Each of these guys have different bents and things that they care about, and so the cool thing is you'll get a little bit more content from us. Adam wrote a neat article on George Whitfield. Paul's got a few up there. John's got a few up there, and so it just gives us a little bit different way to connect with you guys. And so our podcast will be under that kind of umbrella, and you'll be hearing more about that. And so excited for that opportunity. But let's jump in. John, why don't you start us off, and then Adam and Paul let's talk Chiefs first. Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl. We're getting a second rematch of Eagles and Chiefs. Any thoughts, any takeaways? I know the Bills, that whole deal. Jaden, just take us through your thoughts.
Well, I mean, just looking through it, I'm excited about the matchup. I think it's a good opportunity for a storyline for Philadelphia to take some revenge. On the other side of that, you got the first time ever three-peat, and so you have a lot of stuff really lined up. I think what I'm excited about is looking forward to a game that I think is going to be highly competitive and really, I think, move more towards the running game than it has historically. But I'm also kind of curious in the shift that's happened for Kansas City, because there for a while, like I remember they made their first Super Bowl appearance. It was like, hey, everybody, right? Like the entire country was like, hey, you got to win. And now it seems like they've become the Patriots in some way, shape, or form. And everybody seems to hate them. And it opens up the idea is, do we dislike excellence and dominance? Do we like to see those, but do we like to hate on those organizations that seem to achieve that? And it seems to be the case that there's maybe a subculture of desiring failure for great teams, but don't count me in for that. Although I got a pastor on staff, Philadelphia fan from Philadelphia, who will probably give me grief for hearing this later. I am cheering for the Chiefs for sure.
Interesting takes. Adam, where's it land with you?
Yeah, I think John is right, but for my sake, I think I'm like most people. I like parity in sports. And I don't dislike Mahomes or the Kelsey Taylor Swift thing. It doesn't keep me up at night like it does some people. And I like to see the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. I like to see that he's, ascended to probably considered the second best of all time, almost by everyone who talks and knows football. I like, though, that there's other greatness there. And that difference between these games is an inch or a catch. I would love to see Josh Allen win a Super Bowl and the Bills fans have a reason to celebrate. I'd love to see Lamar Jackson do that too. So I'm cheering for Philadelphia, and I think it's going to be a star-studded game, obviously. The stars are out. But what they did this last week, just like what we saw in college when Ohio State got hot, Philly's hot, they ramrolled the Commanders, 50 points all on the ground. And so they're confident. And here's another thing: as great as Kansas City is, They have narrowly escaped so many games this year. It's been well talked about. And so it's going to be a great game, but I think Philly's going to do it. And they're going to have reason to celebrate there.
Paul, I'll come to you in a second. You can give us your Super Bowl pick, and we'll just kind of go around the horn because I think the next time we record will be at the day after the Super Bowl. But I want to give a little of my psychoanalysis. I think we all appreciate the sustained leadership that you see from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I think the thing that impresses me most is that they just know how to win. Like if you look at their one-score games, they're like 17 in a row, like something crazy like that. And so the thing that they have figured out is they just know how to win when it gets close, even if they have to junk it up or Pat doesn't have his best game, of the season. But here is something that really got me thinking. So everybody's like, okay, if he completes a three-peat, like great, he'll have won 4, but he'll still be 3 behind the GOAT Tom Brady. But if they win 3, which they're only 1 game away from, then now none of us could ever imagine this, but can you imagine if he were to win 4 in a row? The question was, would that leapfrog him over Tom Brady? Because that's just uncharted waters now, like in sports, period. Like Warriors didn't do that in basketball. You're getting in that MJ category now. And MJ did it 2 separate times. And so as crazy as that sounds, we are not far away from that being a reality of discussion. And that would be the topic all year next year. So that's one of my thoughts. I'm here for the Chiefs. I don't have Chief fatigue yet at all. Secondly, Josh Allen. I've been asking myself, and we as ministry leaders do this, like, hey, do we have to readjust? Is this something that we don't have the right people in the right seats on the bus? Are we going to keep getting the same outcome? And I think the Bills are having to do that. They moved on from Stephon Diggs. They tried to go more to a run game, which I think was great. I think that featured Josh Allen the best. You're hearing a lot of talk about McDermott. Is he the guy? Can you get over the hump? You're seeing a lot of –
His seat is hot today. His seat is hot.
It's hot. It's hot. And you're seeing a lot of comparisons where is Mahomes just the Eastern Conference that lived in the era of Michael Jordan and got so close? But and so I don't know. I don't necessarily think there's a better option out there unless Bill Belichick, which y'all wouldn't want this, but stepped out of Chapel Hill and said, I'll coach that team. Outside of him, I would stay pat. But at the end of the day, Josh said it, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And until somebody goes in there and just takes him by the throat and just beats them handlingly in those close, they had their chances. So I can't imagine how Josh Allen feels, though, that tight end. I mean, that was a very catchable ball. So I hate it for him. We were all on the Buffalo bandwagon. Paul, you start us off. Are you taking Chiefs or are you taking Eagles? Two great lines.
Paul, are you eating peanuts on the show? Is this a new thing?
What?
Just another day for him, man. Just another day for him. No big deal.
I'm just hanging. I'm having. It's like having a snack while watching the show, man.
I think this is the first. This is like a two-year long thing we've done here, and I've never seen anyone else eat. But go ahead. What's your?
It's all good, man. Maybe you should pass on some of that salmon that you've been eating lately, bro, and it'll be great. All right. So, to what Joseph was asking me before you kindly interrupted me, Adam, I appreciate that. Listen, at this point, I'm on the Chiefs bandwagon just to kind of see this happen because, I mean, bro, it'd be great. I mean, you're looking at a historical team. I think people are still excited about football, which is always exciting. You can't say that about basketball right now. Like the NBA is basically a dumpster fire. And I say that just by way of comparison, like there's this moment in history that we can all be a part of and watching. You don't see that really kind of happening in the NBA. And there's still this love and passion and grittiness that's still a part of football that I think draws people. And so for all that, and maybe I'll leave out the whole, Kelsey, Taylor Swift, whatever's going on with all that. But other than that, I mean, hey, I want to see a three-peat.
I do too. Adam, we also didn't mention Saquon. He's had one of the best seasons and runs. If you're the Giants GM and that owner, that clip, like, oh, I'd really hate to lose him. Like, that guy, get him out of here. Like, man, Adam, who you riding with?
Yeah, I'm going with Philly. I think, like I said, it's just the way they did that to Washington, who was playing very well, has beat some really good teams recently. And remember, it was just 2 years ago that these teams played in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts lived up to the moment.
Yep.
And really, they have basically everybody else insert Saquon, a few other defensive pieces. Nakobe Dean wasn't playing, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with Philly. We'll see what happens.
John?
Well, I mean, I think Saquon. I think the game changer for him this year has been healthy. I think obviously that's shaped a lot of reality that New York didn't provide stability there. Even Penn State, I don't think provided the same kind of stability he has this year. But I think KC. I think they've lived up to the moment. I think they squeak out wins. They squeaked out one a couple years ago in the Super Bowl against Philadelphia. I think they'll squeak out another one. I think their defense is much better than the Commanders. I think the Commanders were always going to be running shootouts with team because their defense was so bad. And so I think they'll lock down a little bit better, stay home. And really, I think the goal here is to make Hurts beat you, fill the box, and let him take a shot.
And this will be a game for the trenches. I think if you remember, the first game was pretty slow. I mean, you got two defensive and offensive lines that are just juggernauts. And so it could be very reminiscent to the last matchup. And so I'm going Chiefs. I'm all in on the three-peat dynasty. Until somebody beats Mahomes, I'm not going to believe it unless he's just mismatched like he was against Tampa. We got a lot of sports things going on. We've got college. We just came out of the Ohio State Championship. We've got coaching moves. So let's just do some around-the-horn quick takes. Adam, I'm going to pass it to you. Take it wherever you want.
Well, let's mention something. I mean, you've been pretty quiet, maybe for the first time ever. Let's talk about your Dallas Cowboys.
All season
Wow.
I've been quiet, Adam.
You're not going to switch it to me. Let's address the elephant.
Go ahead and address it.
Joseph is a lifelong diehard. Every season, it's our season. Dallas Cowgirl fan. How do you feel?
I
Man,
feel.
bro, this guy's not. He's just going after everybody today.
Listen.
Whoa.
I have been
John, you're
discipled.
next.
I have been discipled for a year by you guys in my Dallas delinquency, and I'd like to think y'all are proud. I've borne fruit of reality, and I, along with Michael Irvin and all of the other Cowboy Nation, are disgusted. Bigger than Brian Schottenheimer, who's a nice guy. I just listened to the presser. I'll take him over McCarthy, but at the end of the day, Jerry is swirling in failure. Not just failure of the season, but we are risking failure of the brand and the star. America's team moniker is leaving. We, as Michael Irvin put, we have a whole generation, my dad's like, why do you get so mad, who have never seen Dallas win. And how can we pass that down to our children when we have no story to tell? So I am disheartened. I am still going to tune in, but I am living in reality. And until Jerry's gone, but the bad thing is I think his son is worse. We've built a culture of comfortability, and Jerry said today that he's made more change and risk than anybody in the NFL. And so it's just until we're in the Dan Snyder era, we have gotten to that level. It's gotten so bad. I'm not here for it. I'm not going to abandon the team. I'm not doing that, but I am living in reality, and I hope you are proud of my progress.
Well, I am. I just wanted to get that on record, just so we can refer back to this moment in time.
Now, my father, he's still he can't get negative. I'm just gonna believe the best, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Like heck with that. No, I ain't doing that. So he's another story.
I say that as someone who I think week 2 had a brown bag on my head, and actually today at the gym I had my Panthers beanie on, and so things can change very quick. So there's always a little hope.
Yeah. Well, Adam, where else is
Wait a second. A very little amount of hope, right?
Very
we're
little.
not going to etch out. I think just kind of watching that, I grew up a Redskins fan, and then Snyder came in right when I was in high school. Worst time ever. Come through there and then take over the team, and from there on just obliterated the team. And so historically worst owner in NFL history. Jerry is on his way, man.
Yep.
I think just kind of seeing historic hires and stuff over the past years. I feel bad for you, other fans that didn't get to see Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, some of the other players that came through there. It's tough to be America's team when they've not seen success in so long. But, all that can change. You never know. Draft the right guy. You can pick up Patrick, and all of a sudden you're out there drawing fans to the middle of the Southwest or the Midwest.
Maybe once we get rid of Dak's $90 million cap hit this year, but I am definitely in the let it burn era. Go ahead, Adam.
That division is just like, and I think they're drafting Shador, and so it's like, good luck.
You think who's drafting Shador?
The Cowboys.
New York.
New York.
New York.
Yep. You know what? Let it burn, baby. Let it burn. You gotta see it go all the way down to the ground. Adam, you have any other thoughts on NFL coaching or college?
No, I think the Pete Carroll thing's interesting. We were texting about that. That division on a coaching level, and a player level, that thing's loaded. My goodness. So Pete Carroll, it's not like he's never been great. He's won at both levels. He's well respected. He's obviously the age that he is, but that's an exciting, I think, opportunity. But in that division, I don't see a man of his age, unless he's got someone right behind him, under him, what's going on there. But we'll see what happens. He's a great coach.
I think they're doing a reset because they don't have a quarterback, and so they're just saying, "Hey, come in here for 3 years, reset our culture." He don't want to sit at home, and so I think he's going to reset the culture and probably do a handoff to somebody. John,
he may be doing there what Belichick's doing at UNC in a way.
Yeah. John, anything jumping out to you before we move on?
Not in the football sports world. I just want to go on record by saying I am on team fire Hubert Davis immediately.
Wow.
I am there, man. I've never seen a group of players so uninspired and up and down and not exceeding to their level of talent at UNC. Coach Doherty, I think, did better in the time there of motivating players. Just couldn't live up to the Dean Smith era. Roy Williams, a great coach hire. I wasn't a big fan. When Davis came on, I thought, man, we have the opportunity to pull a pretty good coach. We're going to pull a guy that has kind of been waiting in the wings. I've not seen that. I've seen a bunch of up and down. Don't get me wrong. He's great. Gave him some great moments. He gave Coach K the final 2 L's in the regular season and the Final Four. Like, he's done some historic stuff. But I don't want to be cheering for a team that is moving into the tournament one year and then the next year trying to come out at 500. It's tough for a program. I'm going on record now. It's pretty early, but I'm on record. When I saw them struggle against Boston College and go into overtime, I thought, what are we doing here, man? What are we? It is time. Pull the plug, right the ship, get a good coach. There's plenty that'll be out there. Make the move.
I think it could be the after effect of NIL in college basketball because it's hitting it too, and it's just the college as a whole, man. It's a crapshoot. You just year to year, you don't know what you're going to get. Adam, do you have any response to that?
Yeah, I'm not there. I love Hubert Davis. I think he is the right man for UNC, and that we just don't have a big man. And like you said, the NIL has changed things. I think Carolina is still trying to adapt because everybody's still trying to adapt to that, especially Carolina, who even in the recent 20 years hasn't been the one and done school of the upper echelons of the Blue Bloods. So it's a new day. We just don't have a big man, and it's just a hiccup. I believe in Hubert. We'll see.
I think, too, this era of basketball works against Carolina because Carolina without a big man is like Golden State without three-point shooters, but nobody wants to go in the post anymore. They all want to shoot threes. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that identity or adapt. But, hey, let's move on to our ministry and leadership segment. John, I'm going to hand it off to you and take it away.
Sure, yeah. I speak from somebody who's gone to seminary to a bunch of guys who have gone to seminary. So I'm not framing the question if we believe it's important to educate pastors and equip them for ministry, even in an academic setting. I think we would all affirm that. But my question is this. In the way that the church and landscape's changing and seminary enrollment, both online or hybrid or in classroom, I just want to, I guess for me, I want to know, what is the perfect solution that you believe for an ideal young guy that's coming through your church? What would you encourage him to do to gain equipping both through the church and the seminary in such a way that you believe he would become a better pastor in the future? Which kind of give you some landscape to at least kind of get the idea going. And I guess, Joseph, you never get to go first. Let's hear from Joseph, who's Dr. Frajowski as well.
Well, I appreciate that. I will gladly defer to each of you Y'all are a lot more better academias than I am, and a lot smarter than me, so I know my lane. I don't know, man. I have healthy respects for all of them. I think for me, I think every young minister, if we're talking about pastors, I think there's so much value of sitting in a room with a Dr. Kemp or a Woodruff, shout out TTU, where you're able to flesh out your theology and walk through that season of life. But for me, once I got that for about 2 years of sitting with an Adam Denny, who I'm a freshman and he's a senior, and he's showing me, okay, this is what a theological framework looks like, or sitting in a Paul's Christian Life and Evangelism or John's office of like helping me build my framework. Once I got that, I think I was ready to start learning and get in the church. So I encourage people, like if they're coming to a ministry called later in life and they're done with their undergrad, I encourage them. I say, hey, go sit in a classroom for a year minimum, 2 years max, and go and sit and flesh out your theology. And then I would say come back and do the rest of it online. But I'll say this, man, I really enjoyed my D-Min program. Like, got to meet some awesome people. You know, you do seminars, so it's a little different, but you're connecting over Zoom and stuff. There's so much value as a minister of sitting in a room where you're not the smartest guy in the room, because you know, at churches a lot of times, or even in some classes, you're the smartest guy on the topic. And so it was very humbling, but also very shaping and molding. And so I think it depends on the person, and I think it depends on the church. If it's a church that has an infrastructure of an institute, and you got some people from academia that you can really learn and cut your teeth under, then I would say, okay, consider that. But I personally think there's value of sitting in the room at least a year and then jumping into a church so that you can learn on the real life part of church, but also learn mentally and theologically and say, okay, how does this align with real life, everyday pastoring? That's my take on it. I'm open to other thoughts.
By anybody with a varying opinion, I guess, on that, what they would do with a young guy or an older guy.
Well, this is just kind of my experience with education in general. As I think back to what Joseph mentioned, like sitting in the classroom, those early years where maybe it's a guy who's a new believer, as I was. I really did need those formational theological years. I didn't know at the time how much I needed it. And now I'm a guy who I enjoy reading systematic theologies. Why did that happen? And so I so appreciate that part of education. But I think in the digital age that we're in with online education, that's where I've done most of mine. I think all of us would say the same thing. It's writing that's most important. It's writing. What you gain from education is the ability to think through what you believe, to get all your thoughts together, find something you're passionate about so that you not only know about it, but you enjoy communicating it to others, because that's the goal. If you're in ministry, if you're going to be a leader, you're a communicator. And the more that you can use the power of the word, I mean, it don't sound like a Pentecostal, but life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? Jesus is the divine word, the logos, the word, the speech, the communication, the ability to organize thoughts and deliver it makes you a useful tool in the hand of God. So learning to write might mean I need to sign up for seminary because I enjoy reading, and you don't have to go to seminary just to read, but you have to be challenged to write to learn how to communicate. So I would say whatever that looks like, depending on what stage of life someone's at, if they're married, it's going to differ. The Lord will always provide, but there is the financial component. But I don't like that idea that I can just read and it's like I've gone to seminary or Bible training. That's not true. You need something there that's sharpening you, that's challenging you. And I think writing is most of that. But so is memorization. Back to Dr. Kemp. That is formational. And so being able to memorize, digest, and then regurgitate what you believe and what is true and what you're passionate about is why I would do that.
Oh,
Yeah, man, I think that is exactly what is the most beneficial thing going to seminary. Adam, I think you nailed that exactly as it needs to be stated, because there is a huge benefit of making sure that you can write yourself clear, know how to be able to articulate those things, and know scripture well enough to argue a case for something and not be, backpedaling when you're trying to figure out your convictions or trying to figure out your doctrinal stances, like especially the big ones, right? You can start going to secondary or tertiary issues, that's fine. But nonetheless, there are very essential things that everybody needs to have formed and shaped within their hearts as a pastor. I mean, that's a huge part of feeding the sheep and protecting the sheep. If not, then you're swimming upstream. But I think the as much of a benefit seminary is when it comes to shaping the mind and the heart, to do everything that Adam just said, right? I think there is a huge benefit to being around elders that have been there, have been around people, have shepherded people. And there's something unique about the place that you're at and the people that you are around that seminary just simply can't reproduce. I mean, you can hear stories, you can benefit from experiences of other great seminarians and professors that are there that can tell you those stories, and those things by and large are very helpful. But the day to day, the week to week, the gathering of the saints Sunday to Sunday, to know the names of the people, to know the heartaches of the people, to understand the processes that you do within church that matter and why you do them, to the places of knowing what it means to be able to walk slowly with people, with things, to know what it means to share an encouraging word with somebody, to understand what it means to go after the sheep when they've kind of gone astray, to hurt with them. I mean, you name it. Like, there are certain things that are indispensable in the life of the church that I think is part and parcel of why it's so important to have elders in the church, even if they are lay, they're not staff. I think rubbing shoulders with other pastors is huge. And you say, well, man, my church is way too small to have something like that. Surely you've built up some friends around the area with other pastors that you can take some of these guys, whether young or old, that benefit from each other. And I'll tell you, if even if older pastors somehow or another they find each other, I don't know if it's the same with y'all and on your churches, but somehow they gravitate. They either find you or they find each other, and they're somehow or another being of use, even if they're retired, right? Like, I've got one guy that's going to be at Next Steps, that's going to help counsel or help facilitate or help encourage. And I couldn't think of a better person who doesn't have to have all of the weight of a senior role or the day to day, but loves to still be with people. Give me a guy that loves people, has a shepherd's heart, was a former pastor, and boom, they can serve there. Even in that aspect there, like if it's a young person aspiring to be an elder, the conversations that he can overhear with that seasoned pastor, counseling or facilitating information with someone else, is bar none. You can't find that in seminary. There's no way. So I mean, I think in a perfect world, that's a long way to answer your question, John. I think in the perfect solution, I think there ought to be a great balance of allowing somebody to go to the classes that we may not have the time to be able to do. And theological education has that, while also having a foot within church to get those practices that otherwise it just kind of it's foggy still in seminary. So like, even if you're not an academic, like Joseph might be saying, which I think he still is nonetheless, as a pastor, like, walk them through the elder and his work, right? Walk them through elders in the life of the church, right? Walk them through this book, walk them through congregational authority, walk them through understanding church leadership. Like, there are things that are absolutely essential that any pastor should be able to say, I learned from these guys. Let's sit down and walk this together so that you can learn the art of what it means to shepherd and shepherd well. And now all of a sudden, I think you can get a good marriage of, if you want to take Greek, bro, I love that, but I got Logos, and I ain't going back. I'm not doing that again. I want to read my Greek New Testament. I see some of these other pastors, maybe they are posting with their Greek New Testament. Bro, you haven't picked that thing up in a hot minute. Maybe you have, but let's just be real. All right, you got Logos because I can see it on your screen as well, bro.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
If I'm gonna, I don't have anything to add. I think you guys have summed up a lot of the expression of equipping, right? Essentially, equipping them for the work of ministry.
Yeah.
I think if I were saying in the seminary setting, one of the skills that you gain is critical thinking. I think Adam framed
Yes.
it well through writing, that you may not gain within the church world day to day, to sit down and understand your theology and to have some expression to why you believe what you believe, and that you've thought about it and you've had conversations with other people. And then I think on the church side, what you can gain that you can't possibly gain, at least at a seminary classroom level, is a love for people, is true affirmation. And so I think if you can find a way to, if you have not sat in an educational setting, I think within the classroom, real classroom, not just online, I think it puts you into conversations that you can avoid on an online educational format. I think it would be wise to go and to sit and spend extra time, catch lunches with professors, talk to them after class, meet them in their offices, stuff like that. While at the same time, I think as Joseph said, spending some time within the church, helping to learn to love the church, being hurt, being broken is necessary. Through relationships, seeing people grow and excel in that. I think that all weaves together for the purpose of equipping saints to do the work of ministry. And I think they both pair together well.
John, I have one thought, and just to take this and take a right turn on it. I think we all love the fact that I feel like we're seeing a movement of in the current culture of wanting to know more and deep dive into stuff, regular church members who aren't going to get to go to seminary seeking that deeper teaching. And so, like churches that are bigger do the institute or whatever, but like for us, like we've started doing an elective, like there's, small groups that meet, but we'll do a 10-week elective. 2 years ago, I did a systematic theology, and I literally got Kemp's notes out and walked through just a highlight view, and they loved it. We're in week 2 of building a biblical worldview. So kind of deep dive into that. And so I think you're starting to see churches bring some of the seminary classroom feel to the church, where it's like, hey, we're not going to meet on Sunday. We're going to meet on a Thursday night at 6 p.m. and you're going to get a syllabus, and I'm going to give you a book list. And I think there's a real hunger for that. And for us, churches like us that have people who, still have that deep in us, I think there's value in that. And I think you're seeing a lot of churches lean back into that to give some of the sheep a little bit deeper, thicker meat that they're craving, which I think is a bonus and a plus. So,
absolutely. Would affirm.
Yep. Well, hey, good thoughts. Good thoughts. We are coming at you every other Tuesday, so we will be back the Tuesday after the Super Bowl, guys. Hope y'all have a great week, and see y'all later.